Damn, Kyle, you going off.
Hold on.
You need to leave.
Bruh.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Cam back with another YouTube video, and today we'll be checking out Joe Rogan, the incident that made Candace Owens a conservative. For the video starts, man, make sure you guys smash the like button right now, subscribe if you're new, and let's get right into this video, man. What incident made Candace Owens a conservative? Let's get it.
You're a very popular, what I would call conservative thinker.
Yeah.
But you're very young.
I am.
Like, how did this all happen? How did you become this Fox News personality, conservative thinker?
Yeah, I mean, I just like launched a YouTube channel and
Oh, fucking YouTube.
yeah, YouTube where magic happens. YouTube's a strange place.
It's as strange
just
as it
another
gets.
strange place. Yeah.
Well, it's the internet. And the
It's the
internet's as strange as it gets.
Strange things happen on the internet. But yeah, I just I was really passionate. I understood. I had studied for it sounds strange, but I spent a year underground, studying politics once I had my red pill moment, if that's what you want to call
Well, explain that, because you used to be a liberal.
Right.
And then you became a conservative.
That's correct.
So what was it?
So the story really starts with high school, I guess. You know how things can happen to you in life and they don't make sense when they happen. You're like, why God me? And then you get a little older and you're like, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was the quote unquote victim of a hate crime when I was in high school.
When you say quote unquote victim, you
Because
don't
I hate
think
the word
you're a
victim. No, I hate the word victim. And and again, early, I can see why early on I've sort of developed this mentality that there's no value in being a victim, and people rush to call people a victim. They rush to call somebody the aggressor.
So how do you describe it? That you experienced a hate
I
crime?
experienced something that was labeled a hate crime. I wouldn't even call it a hate crime. I think we live in a label-obsessed culture, and before we seek to understand what happened, we seek to
Put it in a box.
yeah.
So what happened?
Someone has to be a demon and someone has to be an angel.
Right.
So what happened was I received...
Oh my gosh. When was this made? 2018 she talking about this, bro. My gosh. She was ahead.
voicemail messages from about 4 kids, and the language was pretty strong. It was like, we're gonna tar and feather your family, we're gonna put a bullet in the back of your head like we did to Martin Luther King, N-word, N-word, N-word.
And you received these on your phone?
On my cell phone, yeah.
How'd they get your phone number?
Well, there was a prank phone call, so I didn't know. I was 4 male voices, and I was in high school at the time, and I was like, okay, I cannot think of 4 human beings that want me dead, that would say we're gonna put a bullet in the back of your head like we did to Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, naming
Where'd you
off.
go to school? Where were you? What part of the country?
Stanford High School in Connecticut.
Okay, that's a shithole.
Yeah, it's a total shithole.
I hate Connecticut.
Yeah, no, Connecticut's not a shithole.
It's a running joke. I'm sorry.
Right.
I always shit on Connecticut. I have my buddy Tommy Jr. He lives in Connecticut, and I'm always telling him, dude, you got to move out of Connecticut. And it became this terrible running joke where I talk about that Connecticut's the worst state in the country.
Have you actually been?
Yeah, a bunch of times. I
Yeah.
used to work there all the time.
Where? What city?
Well, I used to work in all over Connecticut when I was doing stand-up. I would drive from Boston into Connecticut. I did a lot of gigs in Hartford. I did gigs.
Hartford is a shithole.
It's a shithole.
Bridgeport is a shithole.
Shout out to Marlon Starling Jr. though.
Yeah.
He was a boxer that came out of Hartford.
Yeah.
Big time boxer. Marlon Starling. But when you were in high school,
Right.
somebody started doing this prank call and shit on you, and was this?
It was all in one night.
It was all in one night.
Yeah, it was 4 voicemails.
Was this tied to a boyfriend?
No,
or
so
a girl
I
was
was
jealous?
at a boyfriend's house when I got the calls, and I just put it to silent because it was blocked number. So I was I
Right.
didn't think anything of it. And then when I listened to it, it was some pretty horrific stuff. I definitely cried. I was 17 years old. And then the next day at school, I took this philosophy class, and I don't know what the topic was. I don't know what prompted me to raise my hand and introduce what had happened last night as a segue. Maybe I just needed to get off my chest, but the teacher spazzed out and was like, get up, we're going to the principal's office, you have to report this. He brings me into the office. The principal freaked out. She just the language was it was shocking, and then she called the resource officer, and then the next period of my life was a blackout, because it turned out that 3 of the kids I had never even met. like this was like maybe some kids that had their first beer. One of the kids I was like friends with, but we were arguing because he was upset that I was like spending so much time with my boyfriend.
Oh,
but I didn't.
That's what it
but
was.
he's gay. Like it wasn't like he just was like jealous. Like like just like I used to hang out with him every day. Started hanging out with my boyfriend. It was like a stupid thing.
Maybe he wasn't 100% gay.
Yeah, no, he's 100% gay, from what I'm told. But yeah, so
So
then
he just got petty
yeah.
and jealous.
And then
so
it was like, here are my 3 friends, and we're all going to get drunk and call this black girl. And, it's easy to say awful things into like this. Like if you don't have to look at a human being, like it's easy to say awful things. But unfortunately for me, one of the people in the car happened to be the current governor of Connecticut's son.
Oh.
So this turned from like some kids prank called to like said some awful things to like front page of the newspaper.
Whoa.
Throughout the entire state of Connecticut, a little bit in New York, NAACP outside of my school. It was like this situation that was talk about outrage culture, my first like introduction to outrage culture and the things that sort of formed my thoughts. Like this was a very formative experience in my life. Which to me, it was non-political, but it was like my life wasn't mine. Like I went from like sitting down I was watching Talladega Nights with my boyfriend to being the most discussed person in the state of Connecticut. And what was interesting about it was just that because it
goes back to what she said. Sometimes you don't know why something happens, but over time you figure out what happened. And at the point she was like, why is they calling me? But over time, look at her now, bro.
Of Connecticut's son that was in this car, they had to get the FBI involved to determine the authenticity of the like maybe she called herself, right? He instead of just saying like yes it was my son, he actually let the FBI investigate for 6 weeks and waited for his son to get arrested 6 weeks later. You know what I mean? Like,
did his son deny it?
They just want to see if they could get away with it because this is politics. You know what I mean? Like, can we get away with it? Is it plausible for us to get away with it? So 6 weeks of the entire state. I like left school. People were like fighting on my behalf, fighting.
You left school? You like, I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just
Senior
like
year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
This was just like
I hope you got a new phone, new number.
This is like a monstrosity of a situation, and it was one of those things where like literally like letters to the editor, it'd be like moms like talk about outrage culture, right? Like, I don't believe Candace, like this happened, this girl, I believe she called herself, like you're like, I'm just looking for attention one night and I just decided to say I was going to hang my family from a tree.
Isn't it funny that someone would even have an opinion on that?
It's bizarre. Like,
I don't believe her.
Who even writes letters to the editor? Like the whole thing is weird retrospectively, right? Like I don't believe her, but that is what
who lies about that type of stuff though? That's what's getting me, bro. Who lies about that type of stuff?
Is about, right?
For what? Attention?
The same lady is probably about to write a YouTube comment right now. I don't believe you still.
Don't believe her.
This is how you got on fucking Fox News.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was the situation that like was just completely out of my control, and then as quick as it these kids got arrested, and then as quick as it happened, it was over for like everyone, but not for me or these kids, right? Like, so I never wanted these kids to get arrested. Like, if no one, like, this whole situation was taken out of my hands. People thought I didn't go to the police. Like, my teacher went to the police. It turned into the zoo. These kids were labeled publicly racists, right? The youngest kid in the car was 14. I'm not comfortable with ever labeling a 14-year-old racist, right? Or any of these kids racist. These are kids. Yeah. And in my opinion, adults that fail to act like adults and adults that fail to take a step back.
I was just going to say the parents, bro. The parents probably put that in their head too, but
say, okay, what would prompt these kids to do this? Why is it so easy to be mean, right? Why is it so easy nowadays for children to be mean? And
what they parents talking about? That's what I really want to be asked. I was like, they so comfortable to call you and say this. What they parents talking about? Because if you see your parents doing something, you go probably do it too, bro.
Like when I really thought about that, I went through like 5 years of like anorexia because of the situation.
Because of that one call, those 4 calls.
And I was the victim. Yeah, and
wow.
Yeah.
You went through anorexia.
Yeah, which is so weird now because like people that know me now are like, there's no way you never didn't eat, but I did. I was just
for to look up what anorexia means. So she didn't eat. What?
Did not eat for like 5 years. I had issues with anorexia because anorexia is a disease that genuinely is about control. Right. It's about asserting control of your life, and I felt that I had my life was fine, and then like people took the narrative, and decided to determine what the narrative was. You're a victim, or maybe you're a liar. You know, these kids are racist. These kids are this, and just nobody.
It's crazy because the teacher probably brung them into the room and said, what happened? And she just say the story. That person would say, come here with me. Tell them what happened. This happened. Bring you on TV. Tell us what happened. And she's doing what y'all say. I'm telling y'all what happened.
Thought that like you actually ruined all of our lives, right? Like for a little bit, like
wait, what?
And just nobody really thought that like you actually ruined all of our lives, right? Like for a little bit, like these kids went on to have like DUIs and get arrested and got into drugs, and it was because of this outrage,
pressure of everything that happened.
Yeah, and I was like, would have been totally cool with an apology, like you know what I mean? Like sorry.
Well, good for you for looking at it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to do because everybody loves. When they are allowed to get outraged, everybody loves to get outraged. Obviously, what they did to you was horrible.
Right.
But I think a lot of kids, especially if they're drinking, they don't even understand how stupid and gross it is what they're doing. They just know they can do it, and they get a thrill out of it. And then there's that mob mentality when there's like a bunch of people together doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And you ramp it up and start saying crazy shit.
It's really understandable when you just like think about it as a human being and not as somebody who has to have opinion. Like you're like, hey, we're going to call this black girl, right? You've got a bunch of kids. We're going to just say mean things to her on the phone. And you don't have to look her in the face, right? It's like if I hold up this pen and I'm like, just say mean stuff, like someone's gonna get. You could say anything to this pen. So it's sort of it was a formative experience that in retrospect I understand has so much to do with why I am who I am, because I hated that, like that label obsessed culture and the outrage machine, and then like, oh okay, we're done, but like, you know, forget.
That's so crazy, bro. Like what happened to her could have did two things, bro. It could have made her who she is today, or it could have made her just be a victim, have a victim mindset forever, bro. Cause it's still with her today, so she would have saw herself as a victim. That's why she said quote unquote victim. But I gotta commend her for that, man. Obviously, it was a bad, terrible thing, but
whose lives we just like.
No,
it was a terrible thing, but wow.
Those people anymore?
I don't. I know like the siblings of them because I was friends. Like that's the thing. Like one of the people that was involved, I was very good friends with his brother, and it's like you're just gonna tell me this kid's like a racist? Like I actually knew the kid's mother, you know, like and nobody cared. It was just
a hot story. So you think that they weren't necessarily racist, but they were just stupid and mean and being shitty kids, and they knew that was a way that they could scare you,
right? That they could just and they might have been drunk, you know, like drunk. Maybe it was their first beer, right? But people,
I doubt it.
Can do. Well, the youngest was 14.
Oh wow.
The youngest, and this person was labeled a racist. Like that's to me is like that's hard.
Yeah, probably traumatized. Well, definitely traumatized.
And people say, "Oh, you're too forgiving."
Well, how do you not label them a racist? Because what they said was most certainly racist.
Yes, the words are racist, right? Can somebody? Right. I guess the question is, can somebody say a word that is racist and not be a racist human being? Yes, I think. No, I'm going to tell you why. Yes.
Wow, I look want to watch the rest of this, bro. Wow, this is really nice. I like this video. I want to watch the rest. Wow, man. Well, like I said, bro, she could have stayed in the victim mindset forever. You know what I'm saying? And it made her who she is today. Just like she said, you never know why something happens until later on in life. And this is one of those instances, man. But yeah, man, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comment section below how you felt about this video, man. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comment section below what else should I check out by Candace Owens, or another clip I should check out from Joe Rogan podcast, or anything. Just let me know in the comment section below. It can be anything, man. Just comment down below and hit the notification bell so you're here when I check it out. And I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Wow. Peace.